Hi, guys. Hello. I'm so glad to be on here tonight with you guys to share my live DIY decor with a Cricut series with you. Tonight's our kickoff night, and I'm super excited that you're here with me. If you can see me, say hi. Let me know where you're watching from. My name is Reta, and I love to help women create beautiful things for their home, to sell in their business, and to inspire in DIY workshops. So I'm excited you're here with me tonight so we can get started. I'll be doing this series through the entire month of August, and I see Amy is here. Hi, Amy. Thanks for hopping on tonight. Let me know where you guys are watching from. Please share this video so other people you know might find this useful and helpful, because I get tons of questions all the time about how to use the Cricut. Hi, Kim. And how to, a lot of people that still have it in the box, they're nervous about taking it out and plugging it in and what the first steps are. And I teach all of this stuff in my DIY Decor Makers group. So I thought it would be fun before the doors open on September 15th to share with you some of the tips and tricks I've taught other people along the way. Hi, Susan. Thanks for hopping on tonight. Hi, Catherine. And I also have, once I get a little bit going tonight, I have a little freebie for those of you that want to subscribe on pickedandpolishedblog.com, and I'll share what that is once I get a few more people on here. So tonight you're going to notice it's a little bit different than what I normally do. Normally I get on here and I paint and I do finishes and I do a lot of vinyl stenciling and things like that, and we will get to that. But I thought it would be really important to kind of show you how simple and easy it is to just get started with the Cricut machine in Design Space, which is the design app or platform that they use in conjunction with the machine. So the Cricut machine, for those of you that don't know, is a cutting machine, and it can cut all kinds of things, vinyl and fabric and let's see what else, even cork and just a myriad of different materials. And you can make a ton of customized decor with it. And I love it because I've used it in my business to create beautiful things to sell. I do DIY workshops and I help women create beautiful things like signs in those workshops. And it's just a super handy tool. It has helped me grow my business in a lot of different ways. And so this is just fun to be able to share this with you tonight. So hi, Deb. Hi, Darla. So happy you guys are here with me tonight. So definitely pass this along to people you might know that might find this helpful. I'm going to start with the back end of Design Space and just kind of I'm going to design something very basic tonight. And I want to share with you, I have this little, we do a lot of these wooden, we buy a lot of 1x6, 1x8, 1x12, 1x10 sign boards, and we frame them out with pine. And this is one of the questions I get a lot is, how do you frame out a piece of wood to make a little frame for your signs? So Jason and I put together a how-to e-plan that you can go, after this live, you can go to our website, pickedandpolishedblog.com, and subscribe to the newsletter. And you will get this free e-plan of how to do this, either with or without a nail gun, which is super handy. And you can make them in just so many different sizes. And, when you frame a sign out or decor out, it just adds another layer of dimension to the piece. And people always ask me, so I thought this would be a great freebie to give away tonight. If you already are part of our newsletter, don't worry, I've got you covered, because the plan will also come in the next newsletter we send out, along with a free SVG file from tonight's live. So hang on tight, ladies and gents. We're going for a little Cricut ride tonight. Hi, Deborah. Hi, Linda. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure you guys can see this okay. We're going to be designing a sign or designing a sticky vinyl stencil to go on this piece of wood. And I'm going to go through step by step how I, size things, what kind of vinyl I use, what kind of tape I use, and then we'll get designing and creating. All right. So I use 631 stencil vinyl in black matte. I get it in bulk on Amazon in a big roll. It's in my Amazon shop, which I can post later. And then I use, and I'll show you the whole process. Tonight's going to be focusing on designing, but this is the transfer tape that goes over the vinyl. So it's like it's not clear. It's just like a paper tape type material that goes over the 631 stencil vinyl. So those are the materials that I use to create my sticky vinyl stencils. And again, both of these things are in my Amazon shop, and I can tag that into the feed. And yes, okay, so that's the material I use to cut for vinyl. And what we're going to be doing tonight is making a sticky stencil that's a one-time use with the vinyl. I'm not going to be doing the cutting tonight. That'll come on the next live version that I do. But before I even get started with my designing, I always like to take measurement of the board that I'm using. And typically when I'm designing a stencil for any size, and I don't only use these stencils on board and wood, I use them on a ton of different home decor objects. Like I love using old sap buckets. You can use these stencils on old windows, shutters. Oh my gosh, so many things. There's just so many ways you can, so many different decor materials that you can stencil on using 631 vinyl. So, so that's a little quick tip for you. But tonight I measured this out. And typically when I'm looking at the surface area that I'm using, when I'm designing a stencil, I always try to create a stencil that's slightly smaller because I don't want my letters to come right up to the edge. So I want to give myself like about an inch all the way, all the way around my board. And then I kind of measure from there. So I'll take my measuring tape. I'm used to using my phone, not this screen. So it's a little bit different for me. So I'll take my measuring tape and just kind of start right about like here and measure to the same distance, equidistance on the bottom. And I'll give myself a little bit of room, just about an inch all the way around so that the lettering and the font and the design or whatever it is I choose to use has some breathing space, has some open space around it. So that would be tip number one. So before I even start designing on Cricut Design Space, that would be the first thing that I would do is kind of get a general measurement of where I want, about what size I want my design to be. So now we're going to go ahead, and Cricut Design Space is just a place for you to create. And the nice thing about it is you can get, you can upload SVG files to it. You can get, what was I going to say? You can get pre-designed, pre-created designs if you apply and you sign up for Cricut Access, which is the $9.99 a month subscription that Cricut offers. And you get a ton of their fonts and their designs for free. So if you just want to design something on the fly, you don't want to have to spend a lot of time designing, that is a great resource in the design space as well. So we're going to hop on in here. Hi, Lori. I see you guys are here. I'm so excited you're here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead in. I'm actually going to move my screen so that you guys are just looking at mostly the screen and just a little bit of me. So let's see here. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead into this project here. I'm going to design something totally new. I'm going to go to customize. And I'm just doing a basic design tonight because I just want to start with the basics now, and we'll work our way up to the more complicated sort of designs later on, okay? I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller and get it out of my way. We're going to be doing something similar to this right here. I was playing around with it earlier, and I just want to kind of move it. All right. So before we get started, I'm going to give you the lay of the land here. So let me get rid of this layers. All right. So over on the left-hand side, you've got a bunch of different options. And tonight we're just going to be focusing on a couple. This is like where we're going to do the designing. You can see there's measurements up here on the top and the bottom in inches that we're going to be using to help us design and measure and figure all that stuff out. And also over here, you've got images that are like pre-made sort of designs. Here you've got text, which is obviously something we're probably going to be using tonight. shapes, and we're not going to be using anything with templates or pre-made projects tonight, but we may get to those. I just kind of want to keep it simple when we get started. So we're going to go to text, and I'm going to make a sign that says welcome fall. Again, we're going to keep it simple, but I'm going to show you some really good tips along the way. So even though this is a simple design, I'm still going to be teaching you some tips and tricks that I think will be really, really useful. So we're going to start with, let's see, let's do welcome. All right. And I'm just going to move that up with my mouse. I can move it around as I see fit, wherever I want to put it. I'm going to move these out of the way so that we're not looking, whoops, so that we're not looking at them. And just so you guys know too, I do this a lot on my phone. I don't only design on my Mac. I also design on my phone quite a bit, which is really, really handy when you're on the go. You can get the app for your phone. It makes it super easy. So let's play around with fonts a little bit. You can see here, I've got my text box. This little guy here will lock it and will only allow me to make it bigger and smaller like this. If I unlock it, it'll allow me to like stretch it up and down, stretch it left to right. All right, so we're going to play around a little bit with the text, and I'm just going to check my comments and make sure that you guys can see what we're working on here. So hold tight. All right, so far, anybody have any questions? Hi, Maureen. Hi, Donna. Thanks for hopping on tonight. So can you guys still see this okay? Just want to make sure. All right, back in Design Space. So let's play around a little bit with the welcome. We're going to do a welcome fall sign. The A in the fall is going to be a pumpkin, and it's going to fit on this board that I was showing you earlier. And I feel like the way that this is going to work, because the welcome is so long, that the board should go horizontally instead of vertically. So we're going to click on the text box, and I'm actually going to go up here where it says fonts. You see all this stuff up here, and it can look really, really overwhelming. But if you just focus on the simple things to start, there's like quite a bit you can actually do just focusing on the simple things at the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. And here I can scroll through all the different font options that I might have. All right. And they're in alphabetical order. And I can just keep scrolling through until I see one that I like. All right. So we could try this one and see what that looks like. That was the Alexis font. And it changes it for you. Okay. And so you can stretch that out. You can make it, whatever size you want. I'm going to go ahead and click on this and duplicate up here on the right-hand corner. I'm going to click on this little duplicate button. And I'm going to make another one. I'm going to set this one aside so we can decide if we like that font best or not. All right. And the cool thing about this is you can also move the letters individually. And I'll show you how to do that once we pick our font. So I'm going to go back up to text or fonts. I'm going to keep scrolling through and see if there's one maybe I like something better than that. Let's see, what's this one? This is a cutting font. Most of them are cutting, writing. Some of them have writing styles, some of them do not. But most all of them have cutting styles, which means that you can cut them on the vinyl. All right, I'm going to go back. I don't really care for that one. I feel like the letters are just not what I'm really looking for. Just going to keep scrolling. But maybe I know of a font that I really, really like that I've used over and over again. I can always type that in, or if even I just remember the first letter of that font, I can go here in the search and I can click in. I think there's a font. I think it begins with a B. I'm going to just type in B and see what comes up. So here are the different fonts that start with B. So I'm going to try this one and see if I like that. All right. I kind of like that. What do you guys think? Which one do you like better? I think this one's called Babette and this one's Alexis. So let's see what you guys have to say. Help me pick a font for our sign. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my phone so I can see your comments because right now I can't. Let's see. Whoops, I'm getting some. All right, so which font do you guys like better? Do you like the left font? We'll just say the left or the right. And then we'll decide from there. And I think with either one of these, I could probably do some playing around with the placement of the letters. If I feel like I want to pull them a little bit closer or pull them a little bit further apart, I'm going to show you how to do that here in just a second. Second one, Alexis. Okay, so the B font. All right, the left one. I think it's going to be the Baybat font, you guys. That's the winner tonight. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we'll leave this off to the side in case we get it going and you're like, oh, no, we don't like that after all. So we always like to have options, right? And if you didn't want like a curvy font, you could go in and find something straighter. There's just so many different options. And I don't pay for a lot of these fonts as I use them because I have Cricut Access and I pay $9.99 a month to Cricut for that. But to me, it's worth it because I don't have to buy a lot of fonts. Some fonts you still have to pay for, but once you buy them, let's say they're $4.99, you own them to use them forever. So you don't keep paying for them after you buy them. You can use it indefinitely after that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and unlock this guy, and I'm going to do a little bit of funky stuff with the letters. I'm going to show you how you can pull these together. This mouse is really sensitive. So right up here on the upper left hand side, there's this little button that says ungroup, and I'm going to go ahead and ungroup. I've got it highlighted. Did you notice how that was highlighted before? The whole word was highlighted with a blue box. I had clicked on it and now I ungrouped it. Okay. And so it's a little bit slow. So now you can see all the letters are individual. And the way I can tell that is because I can go through and click on each one individually. So I know they've been successfully ungrouped. And let's say I want to make the W a little bit bigger than the rest of the words. I could do that. Move that up a little bit. And maybe I want to pull this in a little closer. Move these in a little. Again, tonight we're just doing some basics on Cricut Design just to kind of get your feet wet a little bit. For those of you that haven't ever used it before, I always like to start with the basics because then you have something to go back to if you get a little overwhelmed or confused going forward. What do you guys think? Should we connect the letters or leave them separate? We can also connect them. Let's see what they look like connected. Let's play around with that a little bit. And the W would be separate, but the rest would be connected. What do you guys think? Connected or not? What do you guys think about that? I kind of like them touching. I think that's nice. This one may be a little bit skinnier. I feel like that was a little bit too fat. We'll get it a little bit closer. What do you guys think about that? Are we good? So if we liked the way this looked, we could highlight the whole thing, and I'll show you what to do next. But let's say we didn't and we want to go back. See this little guy up in the upper left-hand corner? That's the undo button. So you can keep undoing the steps that you've already done. So it's easy to go back to where you were at when you use the undo button, just like on any like document, anything like that. So you guys are saying connected. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push down on my mouse thing, my bobber. I don't have like a technical term for it, and highlight the whole thing. And then I'm going to go back to group. See up here on the upper right, do you guys see where my cursor is? I'm going to click on group. All right. And that groups it together. But if I just were to go to cut this right now on my machine, all the letters would be scattered because I've been missing one key thing. So those of you that are in my DIY Decor Makers group, I'm going to put you on the spot tonight. What am I forgetting to do if I want this all to cut together? What little button do I have to press? I'm going to put you guys on the spot because you guys have access to all my Cricut videos in that group. So I know you guys know this. So they're going to help me out tonight. What do I need to do next in order to make sure that this cuts as one all together like this. Weld, yes, I actually, because I push them together, I should weld, but what should I do first before I weld? Attach. Good one, Lori. Awesome. Okay. All right, so attach, and then I'm going to weld so that those lines that were separated are now going to be like seamlessly together so that it won't cut like weird parts of the letters. We're going to go ahead and weld, and those little parts are at the bottom right of the screen. You see where my cursor is? So now they're not available because I've already done them once. So they go like into that like lighter shade of gray. Go back out. All right, you guys are rocking and rolling with me tonight. Way to go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and write the word fall. But for fall, you guys are going to help me pick out an image, a pumpkin image. It's going to go in the place of the A tonight, okay? So let's do that next. I'm going to go ahead and click on text again. And we're going to type in the word fall. And I think I'm going to do all capitals. All right. And we're going to go ahead and move that up. So I'm not loving this as the fall. I want something a little straighter, like similar to what I've got going on right there. But I'll give you a couple choices. You guys can help me decide. All right. We want something that usually when I'm doing two different fonts, I don't usually do more than two unless I've got a lot going on a sign. Just because it gets hard for the eye to look at when it gets too complicated. I feel like I like my signs to be a little bit more simple, but if you like things kind of wild and crazy, you can mix up your fonts too. It's really like personal preference. So I usually don't mix like two different like cursives. I'll do like a cursive or a swirly whirly and then a straighter font typically. But there's no rule. It's like whatever you like, whatever suits your eye and your style is what you can do. So I'm going to go ahead and go to fonts up here, and we're going to go ahead and try to pick a different font. But I have to go back and clear my search so that all the fonts will come up. So I've got a couple really good straight fonts that I like to use. So I'm going to go ahead in the box and type in Straight and Simple, which is one of my favorite fonts. And we'll see what that looks like. So that's kind of cute, right? If I stretch it this way. Welcome fall. And see how the F's kind of far away? I'm not going to worry about that right now because remember, we're replacing the A with a pumpkin here on this design. So there's that. Let's duplicate that and try another font. I'm going to go up here on the right. I've highlighted it and then I'm going to duplicate. Let me know if you guys have questions. I'm just looking to see if I have anybody's asking any questions here. All right, you guys are rocking tonight. Awesome. Make sure you share this with friends that may find this super helpful. A lot of people I've met really have been so interested in trying, but so overwhelmed. And it really is simple once you get going. And I can help you learn how to do all the things that you want to do as far as stenciling and even some, if you wanted to do decals with vinyl, it's almost like just doing the opposite of cutting a stencil. So it's the same design. You just do a couple things differently and you prepare your vinyl differently is all that it is. So there's there's a lot of overlap in those, the stencil making and the people like to use the vinyl on tumblers and to customize different things. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and try a different font for this. So I'm going to go ahead up here. I've highlighted it up here on the left. I'm going to try, let's see. Let's try typewriter. Let's try this. Let's try this one. See if we like that. All right, that's a little bit squished out. So I've highlighted it and all I'm doing is bringing it in a little bit. What do you guys think? Are these two good options or should we try one more? Two good options or should we try one more? I need this to be a little bit big because remember, I'm putting a pumpkin in place here. So let me know what you guys think. So you like, so either it's this option. Let me do one more. Okay, I'll do one more because there is one more that's I really love. Okay. But I want you guys to help me decide. All right. So we're going to try, this time we're going to try, this is another one I really like. And you'll get to know the fonts as you practice and use them, but, or you can just look through too. It's not as overwhelming to the eye when you're doing this on your phone or your iPad. There's not as much going on the screen all at once. So, all right. So there's also this one. This is nice and clean and classic. So let's put them, I'm going to put them in a row and you guys have to decide fall if it's going to be 1, 2, or 3. Here we go. Hold on. So from left to right, do we do 1, 2, or 3? Which one do you guys like the best? Hey, Mary. Hi, Joanne. Joanne says, I like the font in your example for fall. Joanne Ingersoll. Maureen, I'm not sure. I moved them, so I'm not sure now which ones you like. So tell me, you guys, 1 from left to right, 1, 2, or 3. And remember, I can change the size. I can stretch it out. I can do whatever. You guys probably know which one I'm leaning towards, but I want to see which one you guys like. So I'm seeing 1, 3. Sheila says she likes the third one. Catherine says she likes 2. Lori 2. Darla 2. Kate says 2. Susan likes 2. Okay, you guys shocked me. All right, here we go. So I'm going to get rid of this one. It's number 2. You guys, number 2 won out on that. It's kind of fun and playful. So this one, I will warn you though, one of the things I tell people that are just starting to practice cutting their stencils, you want to take close attention to those skinny little lines, because if I were making a tiny sign with this and I were trying to cut this like a 1 inch by 4 inch or something, that little skinny line is going to be really, really skinny. And those things can be hard to weed off. And we'll get to that in the next live video. I'll talk to you all about cutting. I'll actually cut the stencil. I'll do a quick video tomorrow, probably a high speed or sometime this week, high speed video of me cutting the stencil, because you're not going to want to watch that in like real time. And then next week I'll go over weeding and taping and applying it to the board and all of that good stuff. But tonight we're just going to focus on the design. So we're going to get rid of this guy. Sorry, little guy. And then we're going to highlight this. So can anyone guess as to what I need to do to take these apart and move these around? What I might have to do? Can you put, Joanne Ingersoll says, can you put 3 under welcome? Oh, yes. That would look really pretty too. I actually have that up here as an example, but I was kind of playing around. So there's another pumpkin in there, like a random, but that's how that would look. And it with a different, that's a Lexus, I think, font. So I'm going to move that away. So that gives you a general idea of what that would look like. All right. So ungroup. Yes. Okay. So Della says she can't see the names of the font. So this one is typewriter font, but there's a few different ones. So this is like the second typewriter font, I think. You'll recognize it out of the 3. So yes, you guys are on fire tonight. Those of you in my I call them my DIY divas. They know exactly what to do. They've been paying close attention in the courses in our group and doing the work so that they can have a lot of fun with their Cricut too. So we're going to go ahead and ungroup, and we're going to go ahead and move this little guy out. And here's where the fun happens, you guys. I love this kind of stuff because it's just so fun to customize things, right? So I'm going to go ahead. Whoops, I messed that up a little bit. I'm looking at the grid to kind of line up my F with my L's. I'm making space for a pumpkin. So I'm going to go over here to where it says images. Okay. And I'm going to go to my search bar. So the search bar is very specific. So what I mean by that is if you type in pumpkin versus pumpkins, you're going to get a different selection. So I'll show you. If I wanted like a group of pumpkins, I would type in with an S. With just pumpkin, I'm going to get a different selection of what it is that they have. So sometimes people can get overwhelmed when they pop in an image search. They're looking for something that you can just basically drop into your design, okay? And these all say subscribe because I belong to Cricut Access for that $9.99 a month. So I I don't have to pay for those. Those are free for me to use. Some of them are specifically for drawing or for printing. Like this one right here is a print image. So you can print it in the printer, load it in the Cricut, and it'll cut it out for you. So that's kind of fun. But that is not one that I would use for cutting. Again, here, print then cut. So I would avoid those. I'll look for a nice round plump pumpkin that I can use. If you're a crafter with paper, I don't specialize in that, but there's a lot of great projects in here for that as well. So, oh, that's cute. If our sign were a little bigger, I could almost use that as the A as well. But because it's kind of small, those little letters on the pumpkin kisses and harvest wishes would be too small to cut. But I'm going to throw it in there just so we can see what it looks like. All right, I'm going to click a bunch of different images that I might want to try. And you can see they're starting to collect at the bottom here. And if I want to get rid of any, I'm just going to mark the X on that. All right, so I'm going to keep cruising. See what kind of pumpkins we can choose from. I hope that this isn't making you guys dizzy because it's kind of making me dizzy. This is kind of a nice round pumpkin. And I'll pick one more and then we'll get rocking and rolling here because I don't want to keep you all night. I don't want to lose your attention with this. So maybe like, hold on, hold tight. I'm out in my shop and I have big screens in the doors. So if a car goes by that's loud or whatever, you'll have to bear with me. Here's a nice one too. Okay. So let's just throw those in. So we'll see my collection at the bottom. And let me insert. I'm going to insert here. So Kim Rummel says, I don't seem to have all the fonts you do. I have a monthly membership. You should, Kim. You'll have to message me. I don't know why you wouldn't. That's weird. You might need to go into the, so if, let's see. Hold on a second. Anytime you're in design, Cricut design space, you should all have the same access. It's just whether or not you have to pay for them or not. So that doesn't make sense. So there must be something funky. So if I went to text, just make sure you're in, so make sure, Kim, that you're in the all right here. Do you see that? If you go to system, you're only going to get like the generic fonts that are like in, oops, let me get rid of that. You're only going to get the generic fonts that are in like, like a Word document or something. If you go to all, then you have access to all the fonts. So that's probably where you're having trouble. All right. So let's pick a pumpkin that we like. So if this were a bigger sign and I knew that I could cut like these tiny letters wouldn't be so tiny. I was working on like a bigger board. This might be kind of cute to do something like that, right? Let me just look. Darla says, sorry, I'm looking at my phone because I can't see your comments on the screen right now. What if you did the O and welcome as the pumpkin? That would be cute too. I could totally do that. Yeah. See, that's the beauty of it. We could move the letters over and do that as well. Hi, Cheryl. Yes, and Cricut has a really good support chat too that I've never had trouble with them. They've always been very responsive. When I've ever had problems with something, they're very good about helping me with tech support and things like that. So my general experience in the last, I've been using my machine for a really long time. I have a Cricut Explore Air, but now the new machine that's in place of that is an Explore Air 2, and it's wireless. It's fantastic. You only have to plug it into the wall. And I'm not making any like commission from Cricut or anything for this at all. I just, this just happens to be the machine that I use. All right, so we could do something like that if we had a bigger sign. That would be really cute. But since we don't, and I'm afraid those are going to cut too small and kind of get all messed up with the blade, I'm going to try this one. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, center it a little bit. What do you guys think? Is that big enough? And we can actually try a few different ones in that place. So let's see. So there's that one. That's the first one. That's going to be option number 1. Okay. Hi, Rhonda. Let's try pumpkin number. Feel like I'm on like The Price is Right. Pumpkin number 2. What's behind pumpkin number 2? We're going to be doing that. That's kind of cute. I think it would be easier to look at visually if I attached it though, so we could see what it looked like if it was the same color. Because I think that the fact that it's a different color is kind of throwing my brain off. So I'm going to group it. I'm going to highlight it, group it, and attach it and just see. So that's kind of cute too. What do you guys think so far? And then I'm not feeling this one. I don't know why. I feel like it's too chubby or something, or it's too bumpy, or I don't know, too heavy looking. So I'm going to make the executive decision here, you guys, and get rid of this little pumpkin. Is that okay? Hey, Jennifer Pondosti. So what do you guys think? Whoops. This would be kind of cute too, but this one, when it would cut, you would only be painting here, okay? And the rest would be, the empty space would be the background color of whatever your base color is of your board, would be that space. And then the stenciling part would be these little lines, all right? So let's put that aside for now. It's cute, but I think we need to make a decision. I'm going to get rid of this guy. This one would be cool if we had a bigger board to work on. So what do you guys think? Is it going to be pumpkin number? Wait a minute. Pumpkin number 1, we'll say, is this one, or pumpkin number 2 is the bottom one. So pumpkin number 1, this guy right here, or pumpkin number 2. And remember, when I stencil this, I can go back and I can add dimension and I can add some things freehand as well. So I don't have to I can use the stencil as my outside outline and the basis of my pumpkin, but I can always add some shading with wax, or I can give it some, some detail and give it some dimension with paint as well. So 1 or 2, guys, which one's it going to be? This one here, where these little slices are, that's going to be the background color will show through there. And this is the black, is where the stenciling will happen. Okay, I see a lot of ones. Oh no, Deb doesn't like the curly stuff. All right. I think, you guys, we have a winner. I think it's number 1. Although I do like the other one too, Deb. Don't feel bad. I'm going to say goodbye to that pumpkin. All right. So now we've already grouped this. We've already attached it. So we're good there. Now we just have to play around with the sizing of things. So I'm going to unlock. And I think we want the welcome to be a little bit smaller than the fall. What do you guys think? And then they'll be a little bit off center. If I want to move them at all, I can do this. I can kind of tilt the welcome a little bit and move the fall over a little. And then I have to play with, I'm going to unlock and mess with the sizing a little bit. And then I have to play with the size of the entire thing. So what do you guys think about the layout? So Kim, I'm going to show you in just a second. So anytime you group, you have to highlight whatever it is you want to group. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight the whole thing. And I can play around with the size of it before I group it or after I group it. It's really doesn't matter. But I'm going to go ahead and group it. Do you see Kim up here? So I just pushed on my mouse and kind of put everything in that square. And now I'm going to go over and click on group. All right. And I still have to attach. Otherwise, this is going to print out all like on the mat when I cut it, which we'll talk about more on the next live, the actual cutting and the mat and all that good stuff and the settings that we use, things like that. That one, maybe the welcome would cut over here. Well, I want it to cut with the fall, so I don't have to mess with where's the welcome going to go and how am I going to make sure it's centered and where I want it. It's all done for me. It's all put together for me. So I want that to stay that way. So I'm going to go ahead and use my measurement, which was 5.5 by 9. I'm going to unlock it. And you guys can see the measurements are on the top here and on the side. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do 5.5 by 9 lengthwise by 9. Somebody's doing fireworks here. It could be roughly. So I have a 12 by 24 inch mat. There are ways though that you can cut vinyl for huge. I've done 4 foot by 4 foot signs using my little Cricut machine and a 12 by 24 cutting mat. It's all in how you use Design Space, and you can make just about anything, any size, but you just have to do some more planning when they get bigger. All right, so, and that's sort of like down the road. I'm not sure I'll get to that in this series, but it's definitely something I teach in my DIY Decor Makers group, which opens on September 15th. So definitely, if you are interested in that, you're definitely going to want to get on the wait list now, because I already have 100 people on the wait list for when doors open on September 15th. So, and that you can do that at pickedandpolishedblog.com. You can check it out, DIY Decor Makers group, and add your name to the wait list. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and 5.5 by 9. That's good enough. It doesn't have to be exact, okay? So there we are. And I know this will cut on my mat, because typically, even though my mat is like, it's 12 inches by 24, really, I don't make designs bigger than an 11.5 wide, because then Cricut Design doesn't like it very much. It wants some wiggle room around the edges. I know this will work. And I can go ahead and, whoops, what's happening? Hold on a second. I think I clicked too many times. There we go. Okay. So then what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of this stuff. I'm going to make this, I'm going to move this down. I'm going to get rid of this stuff because I want to show you what happens when I'm totally done. So I need to make sure that I've attached, and I'll know if I didn't attach because it'll still say attach. It'll still give me that option, right? If I already did it, it wouldn't give me the option to do it anymore. So let me just take a quick sip of water. And let's see. Ooh, somebody's using, do you guys hear the fireworks that are going on here? I'm just going to make this bigger. This is a design I just shared in my group. They get free SVG files from me every single month. And all right, so we've got these 2 designs. Let's see what happens when we go to, first of all, we're going to always save our work because it will not automatically necessarily save it for you. So we're going to save it. And if we wanted to add some flourishes or some whoop-de-doos or swirly whirlies, Cricut Design Space has amazing choices for that too. You can go into images here. Just really quick before I get off on a different tangent, I want to show you. Let's do a flourish called flourishes. And you can pick, like, some of them are just for, you know, printing. Some of them are for drawing. Some of them are for cutting, paper crafting. Let me see, flourishes. Sometimes you have to mess with the search a little bit to find what you're looking for. But look at all the possibilities. So if you wanted to put a little wreath around it, or you wanted to add a little swirly whirly somewhere, there's just, you know, so many options for that. See what happens when I type in swirl. Oh, hi, Sherry. Sherry says, you must have ESP. I was just trying to figure this out. Yay, Sherry. Let me know if you do a project. I'd love to see it. Shoot me a message. Billy says, how convenient that I saw this tonight. I have never used a Cricut and had no idea how they work. I started looking into them earlier today. No way. So definitely go subscribe to pickedandpolishedblog.com because I'm giving away a free e-plan on how to build these signboards. And I'll also be giving out free SVG files in upcoming newsletters. I'll be having links that go to those. So definitely check that out. And our group of women that's already in the DIY Decor Makers group, you guys are amazing. A lot of them are on here with me tonight. There's a little under 90 women in there now, and they're just like so inspiring. They all encourage each other. They all share ideas, and we do a new project every month. Plus paint finishes. We do a build it bonus. My husband teaches alongside me. We teach women how to build palette boards and build small projects so you can do it yourself, with like limited tools and, as simply as possible. Just we have a lot of fun in there. We've kind of become like a crafting family, I would say. All right. So let me look here. Swirls. I mean, there's just so many different things you can look up. You look up wreaths. You wanted to put a wreath around something. Let's see. Like they even have like pre-made designs for you if you're a part of the Cricut Access group. Like this wreath is really pretty. You could use that in a bunch of different ways. The amount of ways you can use this for Christmas and Hanukkah decor is like just endless. So yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys an idea. Ooh, I love this one. I know this is like crazy pants that I'm even adding anything to this, but I just want to show you. That's kind of heavy I think for this design. I feel like it's a little bit too much with the welcome fall. But there was another one in there I just want to see really quickly. So once you get through basically when you get your machine, you just plug it in. People are always afraid to plug it in. I think they're afraid it's going to catch fire or something. But I always assure them that it won't, and I'm here to help. And Cricut walks you through what you need to do. You plug it in, you call the number to register your machine, and they tell you exactly what you need to do. It's pretty easy breezy. Let's try this one because it's a little lighter. Whoops. Do that all the time. Okay, insert image. I'm going to get rid of this one. I'm going to go ahead and click on the X here and get rid of it. Now I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to unlock it. Definitely if you have a business, a creative decor business of any kind, I highly recommend this. I mean, I was a decorative furniture painter as well as a sign maker. And now I have online groups and coaching class and stuff like that. But I think with this machine really helped me make more money, be more creative, offer workshops with more ease, and it was such a good investment for my business. I'll tell you a story. When I first started out, I really don't like that actually. I'm going to get rid of it. But I just wanted to show you there's like so many options. When I first started out, you guys, I was so broke. I did not have money to buy anything, let alone a Cricut machine. And I remember, I'll tell you a quick story before we go. I remember buying those little individual letter stencils from Walmart, and I was doing custom signs with those, you guys. And then I don't even know how it took me hours and hours and hours to do one sign. And but I was just sort of starting my business as like a side hustle. And then I remember when I bought the Cricut, I couldn't afford vinyl, so I used contact paper and no transfer tape, which I can't even describe to you what a effort that was. I don't recommend it. But it's all, I had to be resourceful and do what I could do with what I had. So it was fine at the time, but boy, it's not a very efficient way to do it. And you're certainly not going to make enough money for your time if you use that. But anyway, you just learn as you go and you do things as you can do them. All right. So let's say we're all set to go. We're ready to rock and roll. We're going to go to make it up here in the corner. And this thinks that I only have a 12 by 12 mat, which really I have a 12 by 24. So I could change it to a 12 by 24, and then it would fit both of my images. Do you guys see that? Can you see that okay, even though it's dark? So both of my stencils would fit. I could do in one cut at this point. So it's just that simple. And you put your vinyl down on your mat, which is this guy. Don't laugh. It's totally filthy, but it's still hanging on for dear life. And you just set your vinyl down on your mat. You set what kind of material you're going to be cutting, which I'll show you right here. Let's see. I have mine set on custom setting because I like to pick my own setting, but you don't have to. There's a preset dial. You can pick your setting or you can do whatever. So if I were cutting, hi Amy. If I were cutting cardstock, that would be my choice. But since I'm doing stencil vinyl, I'm going to browse materials. I mean, it's so easy. Like they even have it all just organized so nicely. So you go through vinyl, and I'm going to be doing stencil vinyl is my setting. And I have more tips and tricks for this once you get going. But for now, this is simple, very, very simple. So then you've got your thing set to go. And connect my Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth connected, so you don't need wires. Even with my older machine, you don't need wires. It's ready to cut. I would just send my mat through. It would cut it. And then on the next live, I'm going to go back to my StreamYard video here. Let's see. So on my next live, I will be showing you how I'll do a quick sped up video to post on my page that won't be live on what the machine looks like when it's cutting, what the dials look like, and how simple it is. And then on my next live, which is scheduled in my events for this series, this free tutorial series, you will see how I weed. I'll go over the weeding, how to tape it down, how to apply it to the board, how to even paint your board when it's framed out, easy ways to do it. And then we'll just keep adding projects to our list as we go along, is my hope. So hopefully by the time the series is over, we'll have made a few projects together. And be sure to go subscribe to pickedandpolishedblog.com if you haven't already. There's a freebie in there, an e-plan on how to make framed out 1x pieces of pine in any size. Either with a hammer and some finishing nails or with a nail gun. You can use either one. And also I'll be sending out some free tips and SVG files in the newsletter. So you're definitely not going to want to miss out on those. I'm so grateful you guys were here with me tonight. Message me or shoot your questions. Actually, if you could shoot any questions you have in the feed, that would be great. Melody Evans says there are several Cricut machines available to purchase. I can't decide. Any recommendations with or without bundles? Okay, great question. So before I sign off, I need to answer this because chances are a lot of you have this question because I hear it all the time. So, all right. So I have the Cricut Explorer Air. It's an older model. I highly recommend the Cricut Explorer Air 2. It's twice as fast, but the cutting is the same. Like it's the same machine. It's just faster. And it's up to date. So I would just go with that. I don't even know if you can get a Cricut Explorer Air anymore. Like I think they're just phasing out of those. The Cricut Maker, which a lot of people confuse with the Explorer Air 2, is it has different blades. So like mine, I can take it right out, has a little housing in it with a little knife blade, okay, that looks like that. And you can get deep cut blades if you're cutting through like chipboard, balsa wood or whatever. Or some of the thicker Mylars require a deep cut blade, or felt, that would require a deep cut blade. But for the most part, the knife blade is going to do the trick. Now, if you're going to be cutting a lot of fabric or intricate paper designs or things of that nature, down the road, you think you might be doing that, the Cricut Maker has not only does it have the knife blades, but it has a rotary blade and a bunch of, it just can cut more precisely, more accurately, and smaller intricate cuts more easily. And so that's it for me. I've done my research. I looked into both before I offered my Cricut tutorials, my Cricut classes in my groups. And that is the major difference that I found. So if anybody else has any feedback on that, let me know. You definitely are going to want to do the Bluetooth because they all have the Bluetooth now. You're not going to want wires everywhere if you don't have to have them. And I can be using my phone, you guys, and be designing, and I could be in the living room and cut things. It's so easy for me that way. Or the iPad, I do a lot of designing on my phone. There's more features on a desktop. Cricut Design does not work on a Chromebook, just so you know. Like a Chromebook and Cricut Design, they're not compatible. That's the only two things I've found so far that are not. But most everything else should be. And the bundles, you have to remember, are only going to be valuable to you if you're going to use all the extra stuff. So I recommend the bundles that have the tools maybe, or the mats, things that you're going to need. But as far as the Cricut vinyl and stuff is concerned, for stenciling, now it's different when you're doing decals, but for stenciling or HTV, for stenciling, I do not care for the Cricut vinyl at all. I've used it. I've used a bunch of different vinyls, a bunch of different transfer tapes. And so far, and everybody in my group, over, probably, 80 plus women, so far have not heard complaints about the 631 vinyl and the transfer tape that I use. If you use it the right way, it should be easy breezy combination for you. And it eliminates, I spent a good 3 years trial and error trying to figure out which ones were the best combination for classes, for sign making, for, I do stencils on everything, every material. And so far, this has been the absolute best combination for that. HTV and transfer vinyl for transfers and decals are different. But I would say if it were me, I wouldn't spend the money on the extra bundle vinyl because I would never, it's not, in my opinion, it's not useful because it doesn't work well with stenciling. But if you're going to use it for other things, maybe. So I hope that's helpful. Does that answer your question? Yeah, Lori says, I love the transfer tape. Kim says, good tip. I have wires all over. Yes, you don't need to use the wires. Just have a teenager come over and help get your Bluetooth set up if you don't know how to do it. My answer is always find the nearest teenager and help them get you figure it out. And mine is it's so old, you guys. I've had it for a while and it's still kicking. And I use this. I mean, there are weeks where I might crank out 40 signs in a week. So I have used this machine over and over and over again. It has not, knock wood, probably tomorrow it'll break down on me. But so Melody, does that answer your question a little bit? If you can get a used Cricut Explore Air, then go for it. If you know the seller and you trust them and you know it's going to work and it's Bluetooth compatible, go for it. If you can save some money and do that. Joanne, and those of you that are new to my page, thank you so much for being here tonight. I appreciate you. And I also appreciate all of you guys and my DIY divas for coming out and showing your support tonight. You guys knew how excited I was about this screen tutorial tonight. So if you guys have questions, pop them in the feed. I will go back tomorrow, check through them, make sure you don't have any lingering questions. And just remember, the more we do this, the more skill and layers I'll kind of be adding to the mix. So we started simple tonight, but we'll continue on. And by the end of a couple of lives, we'll have an adorable sign that we will have made together. You guys helped me design it. So that's awesome. All right, you guys have a fantastic night. What's today? I don't even know. Monday. Have a wonderful week. I appreciate you being here, and be sure to hop over to pickedandpolishedblog.com and subscribe for your freebie. Okay? Thanks, guys.